With that, let me turn to the first major agenda item before us, which is the awards ceremony. I'm delighted to introduce the Academy Awards presentation, beginning with the George R. Terry Book Award, presented by my friend Professor Michael Lounsbury, Associate Dean at the University of Alberta and Chair of the George R. Terry Book Award Committee. Welcome to Mike.
Well, it's my great pleasure to chair this year's George R. Terry Book Award Committee and to announce this year's finalists and award winner. Before I do, let me say this is a very important award. Often book writing is an undervalued part of our management scholarship universe, and awards such as this are critical to ensure that books are awarded, but also that we have good awareness of the value of these books in management scholarship, and it's an important way in which we also translate our academic knowledge to broader society. We had a great and diverse committee this year. I want to thank, to assemble such great scholars who are willing to dedicate their time for this is really incredible. It takes a long time to evaluate a number of books. I want to thank Per Fisk from USC, Charlie Galuniak from INSEAD, Sally Maitlis from Oxford, and Renata Meyer from VU Vienna. These folks really put in a lot of time. I'd like to give them a round of applause. As a committee, we evaluated 45 books that were submitted for consideration. All of the books had considerable merit, but our job was to read and select the ones that we thought were the cream of the crop. It's not an easy feat. For books published in the past 2 years, we had to assess which one made the most outstanding contribution to the advancement of management knowledge. This could be to management theory, conceptualization, research, or practice. Per tradition, the process we followed was to winnow the 45 books that were submitted down to 5 finalists and then select a winner from one of those finalists. I'd like to briefly highlight each of the finalists. Give and Take by Adam Grant, published by Penguin Books. The Cultivation of Taste by Crystal Lane, published by Oxford University Press. Plastic Money by Akos Ronatas and Alya Guseva from Stanford. Manufacturing Morals by Michelle Antaby, published by University of Chicago Press. While all the finalist books were very strong, and I encourage you all to read them, the committee felt the winning book was most original, provocative, critical, and significantly advanced management theory, conceptualization, and research. I'm really pleased to announce this year's winner of the George R. Terry Book Award, Tor Hurnes, A Process Theory of Organization, published by Oxford University Press. Tor?
Good morning. I'm Stella Nkomo, and I've had the wonderful pleasure this year of chairing the Career Achievement Awards. These awards are to recognize lifetime contributions in 4 areas. And I would just like to say that it has been one of the most humbling experiences of my life to see how much our colleagues are doing in all of these areas. There are 4 awards, and we're going to do them today, but we're looking at the Distinguished Educator Award, the Scholar Practitioner Award, the Service Award, and the Award for Scholarly Achievements in Management. I've heard previous people speak about these awards like the Academy Awards, but I think it's even more than that. First, I would like to thank my committee. I had a wonderful committee that took on this very hard task. Herman McGinnis, Irene Duhame, sorry, I'm ahead of myself, John Hollenbeck, and Eero Vada. Let me begin with the Distinguished Educator Award. I'm not going to elaborate on the criteria, but sorry, my fingers, I'm nervous, I think. Let me start again. The Distinguished Educator Award, as you see there, recognizes lifetime contributions in different areas. And I want to announce that our winner is Larry Williams. But Larry, I need to say something about you.
Okay.
Let me tell you about Larry. Larry is currently a professor at the University of North Dakota, and Larry was described by those who nominated him as a researcher, educator, and leader. His remarkable achievements over the past 30 years reflect how these roles have coalesced into outstanding educational contributions to the field of management. Over the course of his career, Larry has become one of the leading experts on research methods. His contributions in demystifying such methods as structural equation modeling, the dreaded common method variance, and many others have been groundbreaking. As an educator, Larry has taught research methods at several universities, but his reach has been much farther than the classroom. In addition to serving on more than 70 dissertation committees, what really distinguished Larry's nomination is the vision and leadership he has demonstrated in creating innovative ways to share his knowledge and passion for research methods. Larry was described by those who nominated him as an educator's educator. Not only has his initiatives helped numerous doctoral students in the field of management and psychology to hone their methodology skills, he has helped faculty to better teach research methods. His commitment to the development of graduate students and professors has been exemplary. For example, he served 2 terms as chair of the Research Methods Division, where he pioneered a number of developmental activities, including Ask the Experts. But Larry did more. He founded Organizational Research Methods, and this journal was launched in 1998, and it has gone on to become one of the top journals for research methods. But I think the contribution to education that was really underscored in his nomination was the founding and establishment of CARMA. CARMA started in 1997 as a small conference of workshops and lectures. But since that time, it has morphed into a multifaceted institution. And its reach is unbelievable, folks. It has students and academics, it has reached students and academics from Chicago to China, over 250 universities in 57 countries. I think CARMA illustrates the reach of his education. Larry, it is an honor and a pleasure to recognize your lifetime achievements as an educator. Thank you for your wonderful leadership. It gets 2 hugs. Our next award is Scholar Practitioner. And in this award, we have several criteria, but we're looking at the individual who's been able to navigate this dual role of scholar and practitioner. And this year's winner is David Jameson. I'm going to call David up in a minute, but let me tell you about him. David is currently professor and department chair of the Organization Learning and Development at the University of St. Thomas. As described by one of his nominators, David has been a person who has spanned the boundary between the academy and practice his entire professional career. David landed his first consulting position as a doctoral student, and he describes the next 40 years as an interwoven tapestry of consulting, teaching, professional leadership, writing, and supervising research. And if you read his nomination materials, you will see the intricacy, the beauty of this tapestry in the way he has combined research with practice. David, over his lifetime, has had more than 100 clients across public and private sector. And the work he has done has been on difficult issues for organizations, facilitating change, managing diversity, effective human resource systems. And what is important to remember about the work he has done, he's not only done this for private sector companies, but he's also done it for small community organizations in economically depressed areas. Despite his engagement in consulting, over the 40 years of his career, David has also taught graduate students, passed on his traits and skills, and at 6 different universities. But what was very compelling is he did more than teach. His former students talked about the caring manner in which he was concerned about their individual development and personal growth. David's scholarship and writing in the field of organization development and change has been the foundation of his practice. What stood out in reviewing his materials is that his contributions exemplify how evidence-based knowledge can be used to inform practice and make change. He's the author and co-author of many books on facilitation, on managing diversity, and leading change. And these books are well respected and used by other practitioners and also by academics. His book, Managing Workforce 2000, Gaining the Diversity Advantage, which he wrote in 1991, was selected as one of the best books for that year. But something many of you may not be aware of is that the scholar-practitioner divide has been a gap that has been a challenge for us to navigate within the academy. And David was one of the leading voices in helping us to have a full understanding of the ways in which practice and scholarship intersect and complement one another. Not only did he talk about this, but he demonstrated how we might do it. When he was asked by Andy Vanderven, who was the then president of the Academy in 2000, to head up this new practice-themed committee, David took on the task, and it was a difficult task because as an association, we were very focused on being the premier association for management research. But I think David used his considerable consulting skills to help us to figure out how to do it. Andy Van der Ven said at the time, "One of the best things that happened to me as president and to the AOM was that David said yes. Yes to be the founding chair of the committee." David is well respected and has been recognized by the OD community as testimony that we can indicate from the number of awards he's received from that community. Among these awards are the Lifetime Achievement Award from the OD Network and Life Membership from ASTD. Well, David, now you can add another award. So please come up and accept the Distinguished Scholar Practitioner Award. Our next award is the Distinguished Service Award. And this award honors an individual for all extraordinary service over one's career. And I'm very pleased this year to announce that our winner is Ann Sui. Let me tell you a little bit about Ann. Ann is currently at the Mendoza College of Business at the University of Notre Dame, but during her career, Ann has held positions both in the USA and China. If any of you have had the pleasure to work with Ann over the years, I'm sure you will agree with how she was described by her nominators. Ann is selfless, tireless, and extremely thoughtful. And I think you will see how much energy Ann has when you see or hear all of the extraordinary contributions she has made. Not only is she an extraordinary organization behavior scholar, but she's made so many impressive service contributions that I will not do justice to them today. Let me begin with her outstanding contributions to the Academy. She was the editor of the Academy of Management Journal from 1996 to 1999. Some of the things that we take as common practice were initiated by Ann. She introduced the associate editor model. She also made major efforts to internationalize the journal. Ann served as the 67th president of the Academy from 2011 to 2012. She also held a number of positions in divisions. But what really distinguishes and illustrates Ann's service is her leadership in building the International Association for Chinese Management Research. From being a fledgling idea, a dream, to becoming an affiliate of the AOM. As founding president, Ann relentlessly dedicated her research knowledge, her leadership skills, and time over the last 10 years to build the association into a premier, well-respected community of management scholars who focus on China. Her leadership of this community has enriched our knowledge of management. Ann did not do this work from afar, but relocated herself to Hong Kong, where she was the founding head and chair of management at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Her nominators said, "Do not underestimate that how much she personally led research capacity building workshops for young scholars across China. She co-authored a research methods textbook translated in Chinese that has been adopted and still used by many universities in China. But what stands out in what she did in building this association was she opened up the conversation for the importance of indigenous knowledge, not just from China, but from the rest of the world. Anne's vision, leadership, and service has spawned a community of Chinese management scholars who are making a significant contribution to the field of management. From a small association, it has grown to over 6,500 members in more than 50 countries and regions. It's not an exaggeration, Anne, to say that the surge of publications in top-tier management journals by Chinese scholars is fruition of your dream to bring that voice into the management conversation. And it is a pleasure to honor you. The last award is for scholarly contributions to management. There are 3 criteria, and our winner has made contributions in all of those. Our winner this year is Danny Miller. Let me talk about Danny's contributions to the scholarly conversation. Danny is currently research professor. He holds 2 research chairs in entrepreneurship and also in succession and family enterprise at HEC Montreal. Over his career, Danny has made many influential contributions to management scholarship. I think if you read his scholarship, it reflects his passion, but also his skill in producing theoretically and empirically groundbreaking research in the broad areas of strategic management and more recently in family business and entrepreneurship. Among his numerous contributions, Danny's pioneering development of a configuration view of organizations has become a cornerstone premise of the very concept of strategy. He developed the idea that thematically driven configurations of elements tell us much more about organizations than any multivariate set of relationships. The idea that configurations better reflect differences in organizations and are more predictive of behavior in performance changed the conversation. The article in which he shared this theory won the most prestigious award from the Strategic Management Science Society at the time the award was published. He went on to take this idea to demonstrate what it means for change. His article, Momentum and Revolution in Organization Analysis, which was published in 1980 with his colleague Peter Friesen, was listed as one of the 10 most cited articles in the 40-year history of AMJ. From his contributions to strategic management, he did not stop there. In the past several years, Danny has devoted his research to family businesses, particularly issues of governance, succession, performance, and competitive advantage. In 2012, he got an award for his book, Managing for the Long Run: Lessons in Competitive Advantage from Great Family Businesses, which was declared as one of the best 3 books on family business in the past 25 years. The book has been translated into 6 languages and is used around the world. One is humbled when one looks at the steady, sustainable contributions that Danny has made over the years. The number of elite awards that he has won are too many to mention, but I want to mention 2 that I think summarize his contributions. In 2012, he was inducted into the Academy of Management Journal's Hall of Fame, and also was elected Fellow of AOM in 2012. What stood out for us as a committee was the sheer span and depth and significance of his contributions over the past several decades. Danny is the author or co-author of 7 books and 150 refereed papers. His research has been cited. If you check Google citations, and as I was checking them the past 3 weeks, the numbers were changing. Over 47,000 citations at present. And I just want to add this that was pointed out by one of his nominators. We have just launched the Academy of Management Discoveries. And if you've had the pleasure to read the article, Paradigm Prison, that Danny wrote that won the Best Essay Prize for Strategic Organization, you will no doubt recognize its contribution to stimulating the idea that we should give some credence to research that could be about discovery. But let me end on this note, Danny. Despite the glorious accolades and the list, and the very long list of awards, best papers, best articles, his nominators had this to say about him. He is the embodiment of ethical scholarship. Not only is he a remarkable scholar, Danny is a person of the deepest integrity and a colleague held in the highest esteem by those who've had the pleasure of working with him. Danny, it is a pleasure to honor you with the 2015 Scholarly Contributions Award. I have to also correct myself that he's also at the University of Alberta. Thank you. I would like to turn it back to Anne.